Hello, Sharif here. And today we are in our third installment of the Chronicles of the Upheavals, our exploration of the book, Chronicles of the Upheavals, and looking at how this relates to our lived experience from the point of view of a piece of speculative fiction um, written from the point of view of 100 years from now. Um, welcome. First of all, welcome to me. I have had a day, especially the last hour of which has been uh, everything that could possibly go wrong with a live broadcast right now has gone wrong. And yet here we are. I hesitate to pat myself on the back because there some I'll miss something and something will go crazy and who knows what. So 30 minutes from now, assuming that this goes according to plan, I'll pat myself on the back then. In the meantime, what I'm going to do is our usual 5 minute meditation, mainly because I need a meditation right now. So I'm going to set our timer for 5 minutes, and I'm going to invite you to close your eyes if you wish to do so. Look at our candle if you wish to do that. You can join me in closing your eyes if you'd rather not. I want us to do three breaths together. And on your exhale of the three breaths, uh, exhale audibly so that you can hear yourself relax. So if you can breathe in, breathe in. And breathe in. Relax all parts of your body. Okay, so if you feel up to it, if you can rejoin us in our shared space here, um, we can begin. And what we're beginning with is, as I said before, an exploration of the Chronicles of the Upheavals. You'll remember, if you've seen our prior live streams on this, that we're looking from the point of view of 100 years in the future, and we're looking from the point of view that humanity makes it. And we make it through all of the free floating crap that is about to hit us and actually has hit us in some ways already on our planet. And we're exploring, how did we make it? What were the factors that led us to making it? And actually, not just making it, not just going back to status quo, but really looking at how do we get past our problems? How do we get past poverty? How do we get past violence? How do we get past all of the things that um, would tend to bog us down? Um, that is our destination. And so, um, in our prior uh, live streams, we explored some of the aspects of the the future that's waiting for us. And today we get to explore a couple more aspects. In the book, there's a chapter that says candidates debate ends in bloodshed. And um, one of the things that people in the rest of the world face that we haven't started facing yet is the fact that the political world is increasingly divided, and that divide is increasingly violent. Now we know from what happened in the January 6th insurrection in this country that we have the propensity to be violent, but nothing like what happens in again lots of other countries. I can just name them, where if you say I'm going to be a candidate for a political office, you're basically putting a target on your chest. Um, so the chapter that we will be exploring next is a chapter where it's a news report. Remember, some parts of the book are news reports or interviews or lots of different things that are tied together around this common theme of how did we make it. Um, and let's go ahead and explore that now. And I'm hoping that this is going to work. So here we go. Oops. And it's not working. Let's go back a step. And I just had the wrong screen punched up. Let's punch up a different screen, and let's try to make that work again. There we go.
Both Democratic and Republican candidates for the upcoming congressional seat ended in bloodshed last night as a fight that started in the convention center spilled out into the streets. One person near the scene remarked, "Neither side has a clue what's going on out here. They're talking about taxes and immigration when people are starving in the streets." Candidates were admitted and released from Mercy Hospital, treated for cuts and bruises from the altercation. Others were not so fortunate. Police reported 7 deaths and 25 admitted to the hospital with life-threatening conditions. Police arrested 43 people on a variety of charges and used tear gas and water cannons to disperse the crowd, which ranged as high as several thousand people. Fiercest fighting took place in the area near the campaign headquarters of both parties. Both parties have asked for additional security to cover the upcoming debates. The police chief reckons that we can't let a few hotheads disrupt our democratic process. In the future, we may rely more on virtual debates and less on just throwing the doors open for anybody to show up, the police chief recommended.
Okay. So again, that was a short clip. Just a couple of things to point out. And if you've got any comments that you want to add to that, you can comment now. Depending on the stream that you are watching, I may be able to see your comments now. I think I can see reliably YouTube. I may be able to see Facebook. LinkedIn is always a little different. But you can also send messages to me at mail@commonway.org. A couple of things to think about this. I purposely didn't name a city where this took place because it could happen in any city. There are no regions of our country. There are no people in our country that are immune to this. The person in the one of the people who was interviewed said the candidates are debating these things that are not important to us, or a lot less important to us than where are we going to live and what are we going to eat. And that's exactly what's happening right now. I mean, our political environment has sunk to the level of a kabuki theater where everybody's going through these stylized motions that don't look anything like how regular human beings live their lives. As I've told all of us before, I don't watch television. I try to stay away from it, but it's infecting YouTube now. And I've been seeing the candidates for office talking about the issues that are important to the consultants who are advising them. These issues are not important to the people I'm talking about and talking to in the streets. The consultants do all the number crunching from the last election. They determine what the hot button issues are. They determine the issues that'll get their candidate elected, which is the most important thing in their lives. That has nothing to do with how regular people, including the guy living in the tent right over there, about 500 feet from me, how they are living their lives and what's important to them. They figured out if the guy's living in a tent, he doesn't have an address, and if he doesn't have an address, he can't vote. Okay, so the politicians have this myopic view of reality, and their only concern is what's going to get my person elected. And once they're elected, they can do whatever the hell they feel like doing. But the bottom line is there has to be more to our politics than that. And what's going to get people's attention short of bloodshed? And if you listen to the response to the in that last clip that I just played, the response is, "Oh, let's just do it virtually then." It's not, let's get out there and find out what people are talking about, what the most important issues are. It's that, what are the most important issues that are going to get me or my party elected? So we actually have a one-party system with two wings that pretend that they're fighting each other. And we deserve more than that. I've said in some of my other videos that there are several places in the world that have created a new uh, voting process called voto en blanco. And what this is at the end of every candidate list, if for an office, let's say for mayor of Portland, we have this one, that one, and the other one running for office. And then the last one is none of the above. And if none of the above is the highest vote getter, then you throw the entire election out and you start over again with new candidates, candidates that actually reflect what voters want. If we were to do that in this country, the Democratic Party and the Republican Party would be out of business in about 2 seconds, which is why we can't do it, because they don't want to be out of business. Them being in business, them being in control of a process that they don't reflect anymore, is more important to them than how human beings are going to govern each other's behavior and govern their own behavior in the 21st century. We can fix the problems, but where's the will to do it? Okay, don't let me get too started on politics because I'll go for a few more hours. So let's look at the second clip we're going to look at today. And this one's going to be a bit longer. And this is disciplinary proceedings regarding the novice man Unco. You remember from last time, he was just admitted into the Awakening Center. This particular Awakening Center is set in Denver for some reason. I wasn't, like I said, a lot of this book was dictated to me from another plane. So I didn't choose the setting, and the setting is what it is. And so this is about a week after he's come into the center, and he's already gotten in trouble, and but that trouble is expected. I mean, like this is a very interesting adjustment for these young people. This would be an interesting adjustment for us all, and I want you to pay attention to how it's handled. In well, so I won't foreshadow it. I'll let you listen to it yourself. And here we go.
The awakening centers are not without problems. The problems are addressed within the values of the new society: inclusivity, nonviolence, consciousness, and awakening.
For the record, you know that I am not a disciplinarian. You asked for me in this matter specifically.
Yeah, you get me better than these other pukes.
I'm going to act like I did not hear that, or you'd be looking at 3 counts instead of just 2.
Shit, I can't do anything right around here.
Or maybe 4. You know how we feel about cursing. But it's not so bad. Everybody has discipline problems at first. You're actually lucky that you only have 2.
Funny, I don't feel lucky.
Let's take a look at what's in your folder. Looks like you have 1 count of refusing to work and another count of fighting in the dormitory.
I get to explain my side?
Yes, of course. But don't spend a lot of time on this. The likelihood that you're in the wrong is really high.
I mean, can I get a lawyer or something before you kick me out? Don't I get a judge?
No one's going to kick you out. These are considered minor offenses. We just want to get you adjusted before they turn into major ones.
Oh, okay. But what do I do? I mean, I don't want no beating.
So it's gone from brainwashing to beating. It's okay. You're not going to get kicked out, and no one here is beating anybody else. Now, for the first count, It seems as though you refused your job assignment of cleaning toilets.
Fuck yeah. I don't know what they think I am. I ain't cleaning nobody's shit.
Novice man Uncle, you will learn to stop using foul language in the presence of a monk or master, and you will learn to modulate the tone of your voice in our presence.
Sorry. What's modulate mean?
It means lower your voice and try thinking before you make your mouth move.
Okay. But I ain't cleaning no toilets.
Well, you don't have to. And you're about to get a lesson in inclusive economics.
How come I get the feeling I'm not going to like this?
Now, if you do all your work and attend all your classes, at the end of a week, you will earn 200 credits. That's what you earned last week. And to pay for your food, your bed, your clothes, the laundry, the electricity, the water, that will cost you about 150 credits. So at the end of the week, you will have in your account 50 credits. Are you following me?
Yeah, I get it. It's like the swapping we would do out on the streets, but we didn't call it credits. Sometimes the swap wasn't even, so you built up a count.
Same thing here. You have 50 credits in your account. Now, when you refuse to do a job, you don't get the credits from that work. In this case, the 50 credits assigned to doing latrine duty. So, to get that work done, the work that you refuse to do, we have to hire someone else, one of the other novices or monks, to do your job. And because the toilet duty is so unpopular, we have to pay someone 100 credits to cover your work. Now, guess where that 100 credits comes from?
Shit, from my account?
Exactly. You're pretty quick. Your toilet duty is 6 hours a week. But to make up for that 100 credit deficit in your account, it will take you over 20 hours. Is it worth that much to you?
But if I don't have that much in my account, what happens then?
Small deficits iron themselves out, but you're not allowed to run a big deficit. If you don't have a positive credit account or a way to make it positive, you leave. You can't afford to live here. But I want you to be clear about this. We are not kicking you out. It is your attitude that is kicking you out.
But I see folks down in the toilets, they're always cleaning up. Isn't cleaning toilets their job? Aren't they hired to do that? Why do I have to do it if it's their job?
No, they are just like you. They have their assigned time to clean toilets, and then they volunteer for extra time because they're trying to build their credit account.
Why? Ain't shit to buy here. Oops, excuse the language.
Most of those doing the extra duty are trying to mount search and rescue operations.
What's that?
Let's say that you could locate your sister. Would you want her to be in here or out in the streets?
You can find my sister?
Sit down. Thank you. Yes, we can try to find her, but it would be very expensive, over 1,000 credits just to find her. If she wanted to go, but was being held against her will, another 5 to 10,000 credits or more. And if you wanted her taken involuntarily, that could go up to 100,000 credits. That's a lot of toilet scrubbing. But would your sister be worth it?
If you folks can find my sister, I'll scrub every toilet in this place every day. How do I sign up?
It starts with patience. Sit down. First, we've got to deal with this second count, assuming, of course, that you are now willing to scrub toilets.
Abso-fucking-lutely. Oh, sorry.
Now, what was this fight about?
Some of them pukes. Some of the other novices, they think they're better than the rest of us. They call us names. They call the ones that got jumped here kidnaps and criminals and cannibals. And when the monks are around, they refer to us as kids for kidnaps. So it looks like we're fighting for nothing. They call themselves volunteers or vols.
Yes, we are aware of this problem. We're trying to find ways of solving it.
Hey, just turn your backs for a few minutes. I'll solve it for you.
Violence solves nothing. Aren't you learning that in your classes? There are three ways a young person becomes a novice. Some, like you, as you put it, are jumped. We call it collected, brought in involuntarily. One of our agents close to the streets sees your potential and alerts us. We are looking for a certain type of temperament, someone who will benefit from our brand of discipline, direction, and devotion. Some are volunteers. Thousands show up at the gates trying to get in. Thousands of parents try to give us or even sell us their children. They want what they can no longer supply, a decent life for their children. Some of them we let in, about one out of 1,000. We admit as many as we can sustainably take and catch hell because we don't take more. Some of the parents of the voluntaries don't want us to take any collectives. That's why we spread the rumor that we eat children or brainwash them to try to cut down on the folks who come to our door. Incidentally, once you give us her name and description, if your sister showed up at our door or the door of any center, she would be immediately admitted as long as you want her here and as long as your account is positive. You would be guaranteeing her. And some gain admission by paying a very hefty tuition. These are the children of rich families who send their offspring to us for protection, for education, and for discipline. The families of the tuition children pay 3 times what they cost us. In effect, they pay for both the volunteers and you collectives. Because these are old families that still have money, they feel that they're better than the rest of you and more privileged. These elites have formed a temporary alliance with the voluntaries, but that will end once they think they've got the involuntaries out of the way.
Why don't you just kick out these elite pukes?
Please, language. We don't kick them out because, frankly, we need the money. These centers are constantly expanding, constantly taking in more novices, trying to rescue people from the sheltered remnants of the old society. The resources have to come from somewhere. You will notice that none of the elites ever get latrine duty. They pay an exorbitant fee, a lot of money, to not have to do such things. And we let them pay their way out because we need the money. We really hope it won't be like that for long.
Okay, so these elite pukes, novices, sorry, these elite guys get to walk all over us because you need money, right?
We are really trying to do something about that. We really are. This place isn't perfect, and we don't have all the answers. Man, Uncle, I would really encourage you to not react when they taunt you. And if you could encourage the other novices who were collected, I would really appreciate it. Give us some time to work this out, maybe a few months. This place works well enough, but we're constantly trying to improve. Things take time.
Well, okay. But if I'm doing this for you, what you going to do for me?
Novice, we don't do deals. You don't understand now, but what I'm asking is for you, not for me. And based on this conversation, I will recommend that the refusal of work charge be dropped and the fighting count go on your record but be suspended pending no other incidents of fighting.
Okay, so we cool?
Try saying it this way. Are my charges dismissed, sister?
How come you my sister, but you treat me like my mother?
Are you just trying to get on my nerves?
No, I don't. I just don't understand most of this shit, this stuff. It's like I landed on a different planet.
I apologize. I sometimes do forget how different our environment is and that you've only been here for a week.
Hey, you apologizing to me? Cool. That mean I can bring charges against you? We get to swap some seats?
Not in any of your pathetic dreams. It's only when you become a monk that you'll learn how many rights you novices don't have. This place runs as a democracy, but not for novices.
Hey, lady. Hey, sister. I don't know what democracy means, but as long as you keep the food and the beds coming, I don't care.
Fair enough. Now, you are dismissed. Time for your next class.
Food, bed, and school, and toilets to clean. Life don't get no better.
And, novice man uncle, you have to pay for my time in this disciplinary hearing, 50 credits. It will certainly be in your best interest not to violate the rules again.
I got to pay? Shit. Sorry.
Okay. So Novice Man Uncle learns a very valuable lesson, and maybe we do too. So let's see if we can unpack this a little bit. Um, First of all, this chapter um, indicates that these awakening centers are not utopias. They're not the land of milk and honey where everybody's going into the beautiful sunset singing kumbaya, etc. There are problems with it. There are inherent problems with it. One of the inherent problems that she mentioned was money. If you need money to operate, where are you going to get the money from? And if you get the money in ways that adds to the tensions and adds to the problems, then you got to deal with them. Second is how do you handle discipline problems like refusal to work, like fighting, like other things that are non-social and antisocial, but you can't impress your value systems all at once. It's, your values aren't like this pill that you get to swallow when you enter in, and then everybody shares the same values. You've got to work things out. And this is one of the ways that they work things out. In the book, when you get further into the book, you start seeing how they start working out some of the issues. Part of it is as the money system collapses, they have been moving into non-money positions. But again, it takes time and it takes effort. And while it's taking time and while it's taking effort, you gotta make things move. You have to continue the process where people are going to continue to learn more. The other thing that happens is the fighting between what Man Uncle calls the elite pukes and the collecteds stops being so important when they all start doing the same work in the same conditions, wearing the same clothes with the same results. Something that's not quite clear in in these video clips, that's clear when you're reading the entire book, is that each one of these novices, both the voluntaries and the collecteds, are put into what they call a pod, and there's 6 to 8 young people per pod, and they're purposely balanced so that all of their personal issues can start being carried out and start being dealt with in the context of the Awakening Center. And so as you get to the middle of the book and toward the end of the book, you stop seeing the differences between those who came aboard voluntarily and paid a hefty tuition. You start seeing the differences between those who were collected and paid nothing to be in, and those who, and there was a few of them very notably in the book, who were dropped on the doorstep of the Breaker Authority because there was nothing that there's nothing that the Breaker Authority could do with them. And some of them were very seriously damaged human beings. And that damage plays itself out in the book. And so how do you deal with the people who many of us can see on our streets right now? How do you deal with the people who don't fit in? We had a tent that was in that direction, about 500 feet over the weekend. And this tent's occupants are, let's call them the tent to the left. Those occupants were very quiet, very self-contained. They kept their area relatively neat, etc. The other one was very, very loud, very obscene, very threatening, yelling at people as that were walking by, lots of trash just kind of appearing around their area, etc. And that has ramifications, especially in a city where we don't differentiate between relatively benign homeless people and relatively violent homeless people. The existing breaker consciousness can't handle that. And we, the people who are not part, whose consciousness is not part of the breaker structure, we're the ones that are going to have to learn how to handle that. And the reason I wrote the book and the reason we're doing this live stream right now is that we can start the process of thinking about how do we handle that. We can become the new governance structure, governing with a completely different consciousness. Okay, that's enough of that for right now. Look forward to the next installment of Chronicles of the Upheavals. And if I can punch up my calendar really quickly. Oh, yeah, we've got a couple of chapters that we're going to be talking about on the video that are really important. One is on how do we as a society deal with emergencies when the emergencies become more and more and more and deeper and deeper and deeper, and the federal government has less and less to deal with, and we regular human beings get thrown into our how do we deal with these things with the resources that are available to us as regular human beings. And the other chapter is another look at Man Unko dealing with the shifting his consciousness from the consciousness of the street to the consciousness of the awakening center, and watching how that shift takes place. I think it's pretty cool. Okay, so I look forward to talking with you again. Remember, if you send your, I'll try my best to gather your comments, and you can leave comments like, "I really enjoy this." That even if you don't have a substantive comment, it's something that I will listen to and appreciate. In the meantime, let's do our inclusivity mantra, focusing first on ourselves, then focusing on each other, then focusing on all of us together, and then focusing on all beings. So may I be well, may I be secure, may I be happy. May you be well, may you be secure, may you be happy. May we be well, may we be secure, may we be happy. And may all beings be well, may all beings be secure, may all beings be happy. Thanks a lot, and I will see you Thursday, and I hope that I will be Much more organized than I was today, although this came out pretty well. This is the place where I pat myself on the back that it all turned out well. All right, thanks a lot, and I'll see you on Thursday.